we have Beavercreek, and from Illinois, we have UniLab. Both teams are ready to go. Best of luck to both teams. Here is toss-up 1. This concept titles a 2002 book in which it is attacked along with The Noble Savage and Ghost in the Machine as a denial of human nature. The empiricist position that all ideas come from sensation or reflection is usually interpreted as the belief that this object represents the state of humans at birth when they lack mental content. John Locke thought that, yes.
Tabula rasa.
10, bonus. Pencil and paper ready. For 10 points each, answer these questions about the duodecimal number system. The base of the duodecimal system is what number that is also the least common multiple of 3 and 4?
Least common multiple, 12.
Answer?
12.
Yes. What letter is used to represent the decimal number 11 in base 12?
A. I think so, A.
Answer?
No,
B.
that's B.
What is the decimal or base 10 equivalent of the base 12 number 283? You have 10 seconds.
144 times 2, 288, plus 12 times 8, 96, plus 3, 6, 17, 387, right? 387.
I'm sorry?
387.
20 points. Toss up,
Big bar.
toss up 2. This battle was the last event chronicled by Ammianus Marcellinus. The victors at this battle had recently been driven out of the Volga, Don, and Dnieper areas by the Huns. This battle's losing command. Yes.
Adrianople.
15. Bonus. This title character defeats a group of sorcerers who live underwater at Dom Daniel in this man's epic poem, Thalaba the Destroyer, for 10 points each. What author of the anti-war poem After Blenheim also recorded the original Goldilocks story?
Oh, Perrault.
Answer?
Perrault.
Robert Southey. Southey was repeatedly savaged and parodied by this romantic poet, including the ironic dedication to his Don Juan.
Byron. Lord
Byron.
Southey, like Wordsworth and Coleridge, was a member of this group of romantic poets who took their name from a district in northwestern England.
Lake poets. Lake poets.
20. Toss up 3. Bromodomains bind to the long N-terminal tails of these proteins. Yes?
Histones.
15. Bonus. Andrew Jackson called this man Miss Nancy due to his alleged homosexual affair with James Buchanan. For 10 points each, this man who died of tuberculosis 1 month into his term as Franklin Pierce's vice president.
Oh, shoot.
All right. What was his name?
Dallas.
Answer?
Dallas.
William Rufus King. In 1844, John Tyler appointed King as minister to this foreign country. Governor Morris was minister to this country from 1792 to 1794, during which time he was critical of its revolution.
France.
Yes, for almost 25 years, King represented the state in the Senate. In 1937, Hugo Black resigned as a senator from the state to become a Supreme Court justice.
All right.
No, wait.
That
no,
wasn't
wait.
a
Answer?
New Hampshire.
Alabama.
That's fine.
10 points. Can I get, Jonathan, can I get you to turn your buzzer box a little bit this way so I can see the light, please?
Well, I want to see my light.
Can you tilt it a little bit just so I can see it? Yeah,
do it like
there we go. Can you see it
Okay.
there? Okay.
Yes, I can see
We are resuming with toss-up 4. That was 10 on the bonus.
All right, big bar.
Big bar.
When speaking of the coming of the sons of Dardanus to Lavinium, this mythological figure has a vision of a river foaming with streams of blood. This figure, who leads a man through the gate of Dis, yes,
Kimi and Sybil.
15 bonus. The hot chocolate effect describes how this quantity is decreased by the presence of air bubbles in a liquid. For 10 points each, a sonic boom is generated by shock waves when a moving object eclipses what quantity?
Speed of sound.
This measure of an object in motion is the ratio of the object's speed to the speed of sound in the same medium.
Yeah.
Mach number.
The speed of sound is proportional to the square root of this quantity divided by density. It gives a material's resistance to uniform compression.
Bulk modulus.
30, toss up
Big bar.
5. In April 1996, a person in this profession named John McSherry died of a sudden heart attack while working. A man with this job co-authored the book Nobody's Perfect after making a mistake that cost Armando Galarraga a rare achievement. C.B. Bucknor and Joe West are people with this job who work in crews of 4 and are aided by a replay center in yes.
Referee.
Neg 5.
You're good.
Yeah, Neg 5. And are aided by a replay center in New York City. For 10 points, name these officials in a baseball game. Yes.
Umpires.
10. Bonus. This country's sorry?
No, we didn't say no.
Okay, sorry, I couldn't tell if you said protest or not. Bonus. This country's major river, the Mono River, forms the southern part of its eastern border with Benin. For 10 points each, name this long, thin African country that has been ruled by the Nasingbe Ediadema family since 1967.
Togo.
This port city is the capital and most populous city of Togo.
Lome.
Lomé is on the shore of this major Gulf of Africa, which contains the Bight of Benin.
Gulf of Niger.
Gulf of Guinea. 20 points, toss-up 6. While following up on Victor Hess's research, this man coined the term cosmic rays. Richard Feynman's commencement address on cargo cult science noted that after this man took a measurement with Harvey Fletcher, later studies slowly approached the modern value of about 1.6 times to, yes,
Lamb?
Neg 5, 1.6 times 10 to the minus 19 coulombs. For 10 points, name this man who adjusted a capacitor to levitate charged fluid in the oil drop experiment.
Millikan.
Yes, 10 bonus. This author declared all honors mimic, all wealth academy, compared to the bond between him and his lover in his poem The Sun Rising. For 10 points each, name this metaphysical poet who demanded, for God's sake, hold your tongue and let me love, in his poem The Canonization.
So done.
Yes, The Sun Rising is this type of poem which usually concerns lovers who part ways at dawn. This term was ironically used as the title of a Philip Larkin poem that begins, I work all day and get half drunk at night.
Is that an abad? Abad?
In one of his holy sonnets, Donne claimed this concept is not mighty and dreadful and commanded it to be not proud.
Death.
30, toss-up 7. A character in this play says that his father joked that his family is descended from a horse that Caligula made a senator. Boris Simeonov-Pishin constantly requests loans in this play, which ends with an old man discovering he is trapped in an abandoned house. Yes.
Sure, your turn.
10, bonus.
Good bonus.
In March 2019, this politician was cleared of attempting to influence a congressional special election by announcing grants for coal mine cleanups. For 10 points each, name this Montana Republican who, from 2017 to 2019, served as Secretary of the Interior.
Oh, I can't remember this guy's name. I'm totally.
Answer?
Smith.
Zinke. That special election in which Connor Lamb defeated Rick Saccone took place in this state. Later in 2018, this state redrew its congressional districts.
Uh-oh.
This is not good. Any handies?
No, just as
Answer?
Texas.
Pennsylvania. Zinke was accused of violating this 1939 act that bans many partisan activities by executive branch employees. In 2018, Kellyanne Conway was ruled to have violated it by disparaging Doug Jones.
Hatchak.
10, toss-up
Big mark.
8.
We got
This
that.
man tried to predict living conditions 100 years in the future in his essay, Economic Possibilities for Our Grandchildren. He quipped that Lenin was right that debauching currency could break capitalism. This key participant in the Bretton Woods... yes,
Keynes.
10, bonus. After Jim Swire's daughter died in this event, he successfully smuggled a fake bomb past airport security twice to prove a point. For 10 points each, what 1988 terrorist attack is usually identified by the name of the Scottish town where 11 people died from falling airplane debris.
Lockerbie bomb.
Pan Am Flight 103 originated in this German banking hub, the financial center of Europe.
Right, yeah.
Frankfurt.
In 2003, this longtime dictator of Libya personally accepted responsibility for the Lockerbie bombing.
Gaddafi.
30, toss-up 9. The definition of the candela involves a value of 540 times 10 to the 12th times this derived unit. Bandwidth is measured with this SI unit, which is named after...
Electron volts?
Neg 5, which is named after the German physicist who first observed the photoelectric effect and experimentally verified James Clerk Maxwell's prediction of electromagnetic waves. 1 cycle per second equals, for 10 points, what SI unit of frequency? Yes.
Hertz.
10, bonus. For 10 points each, answer these questions about music with irreligious themes. This punk band behind 21st Century and Infected is headed by evolutionary biologist Greg Graffin.
Is that it?
Answer?
No.
Bad Religion. Peter Buck wrote the mandolin riff for this band's hit, Losing My Religion.
Rem, right?
See it.
Rem?
Yes, this indie rock band fronted by Jenny Lewis included The Absence of God on their 2004 album, More Adventurous.
Indie
I
rock.
have a guess. Mumford and Sons.
I'm sorry?
Mumford and Sons.
No, Rilo Kiley. 10 points,
Big ball.
toss up 10. One of these characters describes a girl whose different set of friends includes a fish head. In a 2005 film, Deep Roy played 165 of these characters. Yes,
Oompa Loompas?
15.
Nice.
Bonus. A song about this animal noted the cage is very small, a tiny silver ball that makes you a hero the moment you step inside. For 10 points each, name this animal who actually died from overheating and anxiety in less than 12 hours, rather than from eating poisoned food after a week as originally reported.
Leica?
Yes, Laika became the first living creature to be launched into orbit as part of this Soviet program. Its first mission placed the first ever artificial satellite in orbit.
Yeah.
Okay, Sputnik?
Yes, this singer-songwriter memorialized Laika in his song Space Doggedy. He wrote the songs Still Alive and Want You Gone for the Portal video games.
Yeah. Who composed that?
Answer?
Say anything.
Johnson.
Jonathan Colton, 20 points, toss-up 11. This country's easternmost territory is a coral atoll whose name means southern bird. Native snow monkeys occasionally bathe... Yes,
Japan.
15. Bonus. In 2016, 4 heavy elements prepared using fusion techniques pioneered by Yuri Oganessian were officially added to the periodic table. For 10 points each, this body, which produces international standards for chemical nomenclature, officially recognized and named the elements.
I can't.
It's the...
Answer?
Something.
IUPAC. The elements, which are not found in nature, must be prepared using special techniques because within milliseconds they emit helium nuclei via this form of radioactive decay.
This form. Oh, yeah. We're stalling.
Answer?
Alpha.
One of the new elements was named after this U.S. state because it was discovered at this state's Oak Ridge National Laboratory.
Yeah. Tennessee.
Yes, for 20, and that's the half.
Let's go, guys.
All right.
Alrighty.
Come on, guys. Let's go.
We can do this.
We can do this. We've done some really
We are a
cheesy
comeback
buttons.
team.
All right. Kill him and lit.
The score we have is 215 for Beavercreek, 125 for University Lab.
Wait,
I'll check it after.
You didn't count. Yeah, you didn't count.
Alright.
Yeah.
Woo.
At the half, the score is 215 for Beavercreek, 125 for University Lab, 9 minutes on the clock, and here is toss-up 12. One form of this process has a plasma-enhanced variant which increases reactivity via ionization. Thin films are synthesized on a silicon wafer using the chemical vapor form of this, yes,
Deposition.
15 bonus. Bob Moses directed this campaign on behalf of SNCC for 10 points each, named this 1964 voter registration campaign during which James Chaney, Michael Schwerner, and Andrew Goodwin were murdered. Answer?
Freedom Summer.
Freedom Summer aimed to register black voters in this state. In 1963, Medgar Evers was murdered in its capital, Jackson. Answer?
Mississippi.
This African-American woman who founded the Freedom Democratic Party helped to organize Freedom Summer. She described being beaten for trying to register to vote in a speech at the 1964 Democratic National Convention.
Wait, what? What'd you say? Frank. There's something with Frank. I don't know.
Answer?
Frank.
I'm sorry?
Frank.
No, Fannie Lou Hamer, 20 points, toss-up 13. When Joseph Stalin's daughter defected to the U.S. in 1967, this former government official was sent to confirm her identity. This man founded the State Department's Office of Policy Planning in 1947. The same year, he published The Sources of Soviet Conduct in Foreign Affairs magazine. Yes,
Kennan.
15, bonus. People on this journey would often purchase a copy of Piranesi's black and white etchings of Rome. For 10 points each, named this journey in which young men of the 17th and 18th centuries would travel across Europe with a bear leader to complete their liberal classical
Is
education.
that what it's
Grand Tour,
called?
right?
Go for it. I don't know if there's people.
Answer?
Grand Tour.
Many tourists purchased vedute landscape paintings by Canaletto in this Italian city depicting its many canals.
Okay.
Answer?
Venice.
Canaletto temporarily moved to London in 1746 when this war, which began when Frederick the Great seized Silesia, disrupted the flow of British grand tours to Venice.
Austrian succession, right?
Answer?
Austrian succession.
30 points, toss-up 14. This state's northern border is the site of a sandstone formation called the Wave that only 20 people are allowed to hike per day. A popular photo op in the state involves the beams of light that periodically shine through its antelope... Yes,
Arizona.
15
Good
bonus.
buzz.
In 2015, this man escaped from prison by riding a motorcycle out of a nearly mile-long tunnel. For 10 points each, named this Mexican drug lord. He was Yes, Guzman formerly led this largest Mexican cartel named for
Sinaloa.
Shortly before he was recaptured in 2016, Guzman was interviewed by this American actor for an article in Rolling Stone magazine.
Do you know?
No.
No answer.
Sean Penn, 20 points, toss-up 15. This poet imagined the hot stink of a creature who sets neat prints into the snow in his poem, The Thought Fox. His poem, The Table, uses the phrase, that German cuckoo, to refer to his ex-father-in-law, Otto, who, along with this poet, was depicted in another author's poem, Daddy. The Hawk in the Rain... Yes, Neck 5. The Hawk in the Rain is by, for 10 points, what former poet laureate whose collection Birthday Letters Yes, 10. Bonus? This term was used to designate the councils of citizens which governed cities and communities in Spain during the Peninsular War. For 10 points each, give this Spanish word, also used to refer to a military government, such as several national ones of Reconstruction.
Junta.
A junta of national Reconstruction was established by the Central American country's Sandinista government, which was opposed by the juntas that have ruled this country include its first government, the Primera Junta, as well as one that ruled during its national reorganization process.
Let's just check
Guess something.
Myanmar.
No, Argentina, 20
Right.
points,
Right.
toss-up 16. A dictator of this country who bathed in dolphin blood. Yes,
Burma.
15. Bonus? For 10 points each, answer the following about the synthesis of amino acids. In this process, an aldehyde or ketone is condensed with ammonium chloride and then hydrolyzed to form the desired amino acid. Answer?
Native chemical ligation.
Strecker synthesis. In this experiment, two scientists synthesized amino acids by applying electrical shocks to a mixture of water, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen, demonstrating that amino acids could have formed on the early Earth.
Install. No, it's not that one.
Answer?
This install.
Miller-Urey. Primordial amino acid synthesis is important to understanding the origin of life, since amino acids are the building blocks for these biomolecules. Answer?
Protein.
10, toss-up 17. In the late 1970s, this man led a group known as the Team within the Young Republicans organization. In March 2019, this man was indicted on 16 mortgage fraud counts in New York. A 2018 profile in The Atlantic described how this man would often swim naked with his client, Viktor Yanukovych. Yes,
Paul Manafort.
10, bonus. A member of this family carried out the demolition of the St. Anthony Abbey during World War II. For 10 points each, name this family that includes the architects Heinrich, Robert, and Joseph. Answer?
No.
Flamel. The Flamel family appears in this author's novel, Billiards at 9:30.
You're fine.
Answer?
Bull.
Boll was an author from this country, and his work dealt with the after effects of World War II on its people, much like fellow countryman Gunter Grass.
Come on, guys. Big bar.
Answer?
Germany.
20. Toss up 18. Like Plato's dialogue Phaedrus, one of these texts compares the body to a chariot pulled by the intellect. The 4 great sayings of these texts include a phrase translating to that thou art, or tat vam, yes,
Upanishad.
15. Bonus. The British Admiralty did not appoint geographer Alexander Dalrymple to helm this vessel, citing an incident in which a crew did not follow the orders of a scientist. For 10 points each, what ship's 1769 to 71 secret mission involved searching for a southern continent north of Van Diemen's Land? Answer?
Endeavor.
This man commanded the Endeavour. In 1770, he reached Botany Bay in Australia. Answer?
Cook.
The cited insubordination occurred on the HMS Paramore, commanded in 1698 and 99 by this astronomer who mapped variations in Earth's magnetic field. Answer?
Kepler.
Halley. 20 points, toss up 19. In one form of this process, a soak step achieves equilibrium after a preheating step removes volatile solvents. This process is scaled up for manufacturing in its reflow and wave types. Rosin is used as a flux to prevent oxidation in this process, which once used a namesake eutectic alloy of tin and lead with a low melting point. Yes?
Choline?
Neg 5. For 10 points, we name this process which adjoins 2 metals with a molten filler metal. Yes?
Welding.
No, soldering. Toss up 20. This non-German composer included the song Come All Ye Songsters of the Sky, sung by Titania, in a semi-opera based on A Midsummer Night's Dream titled The Fairy Queen. In an opera by this composer, the female lead implores remember me, but forget my fate, and her lament when I am laid. Yes.
Purcell.
10. Bonus. For 10 points each, answer the following about fictional TV news personalities. This man, who currently hosts CBS's The Late Show, played a fictionalized conservative version of himself. Yes. Jeff Daniels played anchor Will McAvoy on this HBO series produced by Aaron Sorkin, which ended in 2014.
West Wing? West Wing.
No, The Newsroom. This recurring Family Guy character is the male anchor of Quahog's Channel 5 News. His son's face is upside down.
I don't know. Do you know?
No, Ken.
No, nice.
Tom Tucker. 10 points, toss up 21. An essay by this author recalls driving through a wilderness of smashed plate glass to bury his father after a race riot. The title character murders the bartender Guillaume after a brief relationship with the narrator. In this, yes,
Baldwin.
15. Bonus. A 1913 scandal concert conducted by this composer led to a punch that was called the most harmonious sound of the night. For 10 points each, name this Austrian composer of Gurrelieder and Transfigured Night. His first chamber symphony was on the program that evening. Answer?
Schoenberg.
The Scandal concert included the 6 pieces for orchestra by the student of Schoenberg, who also wrote an Opus 1 Passacaglia and a 2-movement 12-minute symphony. Answer?
Webern.
Schoenberg later developed a technique of composition named for this number of tones, the number of distinct pitches in the chromatic scale. Answer?
12.
30. Toss up 22. In the aftermath of this event, a man who kicked the cook Desno in the genitals was decapitated and had his head paraded on a pike. 954 people officially participated. Yes.
Storming of the Bastille.
15. Bonus. In the 1930s, the white Russian adventurer Boris Soskriev declared war against this country's co-princes and took control of its government for 2 weeks. For 10 points each, name this microstate in the Pyrenees.
Andorra?
Answer?
Andorra.
Andorra is the only country in the world where this is the sole official language.
Never mind. I'm out.
Some stupid.
No.
Answer?
Occitan.
Catalan. Traditionally, the 2 co-princes of Andorra have been the president of France, and this bishop representing a historic Catalan county.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I should know this though.
Answer?
No.
Urgell. 10 points, toss up 23. A common early course in this branch of mathematics is titled for its point set variant and focuses on families of open sets. This branch studies continuous functions with continuous inverses called homeomorphisms, which are mappings between spaces. A joke points out that in this branch of math, a donut is equal. Yes.
Topology.
10. Bonus. Edge detection.
Alright.
Edge detection algorithms are often part of training computers to mimic this human sense. For 10 points each, name the sense whose mimicking involves object recognition and pose estimation.
Just sight.
Oh, I don't know.
Sight or touch?
Oh.
Answer?
Touch.
No, sight or vision. This is the formal, if vaguely defined, collective term for edges, corners, ridges, and other interesting local points that are extracted during image analysis.
Oh, field of view.
Types of exterior.
Answer?
No.
Features. This computer vision technique, known by a 3-letter abbreviation, involves converting images of text into machine-encoded text. It is used by Google Books.
Well, that's a big
Zero to
one.
bonus.
Good way to end out.
Answer?
No.
Optical character recognition, or OCR. That's the game. We'll get a final score.
Just believe.
That was 0. Yes. Final score is 450 for Beavercreek, 205 for University Lab. Congratulations, both teams.